I'm going to do it on the iPad because I'm doing it later. So we're adding our next layer to equations. So we solved two-step equations, but then we're going to also add on what we were doing with expressions. So like simplifying expressions. So distributing and then also combining like terms. So this first section, until it says try it on your own, we're going to do together. So make sure that you're writing down what I'm writing down and that you're following along. And you're using a calculator. I have a calculator, but I can't put it on the screen right now. Because I'm doing a screen recording and not like a live video. Okay. Alright, so since we're adding a layer, I've added all of these questions on the side for you. And I want you to go through every single question every single time. Okay? So you start at the top and then just work your way down the list of questions until you've solved it. Okay? So here I have the equation 8 plus m divided by 3 equals 11.5. So it says, what is your goal? Your goal is to find one of the variable. In this case, our variable is m. So I want to find one m. So fill in that blank right there. Okay. And then I'm going to read and check off my questions as I complete them. So looking at the equation, are there any parentheses? Nope, I don't see any parentheses. I don't need to do that one, so let's draw a little X right there. So I know I answered that question, and there's no parentheses. Okay. All right, and then are there any like terms on the same side of an equation? So looking on the side with the variable, I don't see anything I can add or subtract together. They're not like terms. This has a variable, and this term doesn't have a variable. So I don't need to do that. And it says, is there a constant? Circle it, then add or subtract. So looking at the side with the variable, okay, I do see a constant. I'm going to circle it. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. There we go. Okay. So that's a plus 8, right? There's a positive invisible in front of it. Okay. So I did that, I circled it. Then to get rid of my constant, the opposite of plus 8 is minus 8. What I do on one side of the equation, I have to do on the other side. Okay. All right, 8 minus 8 is 0. So those guys will cancel each other out. And I still have this m divided by 3. Then I bring my equal sign straight down. Then in my calculator, I do 11.5 minus 8 is 3.5. All right, my next question is there a coefficient? Box it, then multiply or divide. Okay, there's still something attached to my variable. So I'm going to box it. Okay, the opposite of dividing by 3 is multiplying by 3. So I'm going to multiply by 3 on both sides. Multiplying by 3 and dividing by 3 are opposites. They cancel each other out. You're left with 1m. And then on this side, I have to do 3.5 times 3. I type in my calculator, and I get 10.5. And I achieved my goal of getting the variable by itself, so that's my answer. I'm going to put a little happy face here because I found my final answer. Okay. Alright, this one. 2 times the quantity, negative 7 plus x, equals 44. Let's start with our goal. What are we looking for? I want to get x by itself. So I want to get a positive 1x. My first question says, are there parentheses? If so, distribute. Yes, I see parentheses. That means I need to distribute. So remember, that's where we take the number on the outside times each thing on the inside. So I'm going to take 2 times negative 7. Then I'm going to do 2 times x. And then I'm still going to include this equals 44. I can't forget it. I can't leave it out. Okay. So 2 times negative 7 is negative 14. 2 times x is a positive 2x equals 44. So that was my step 1. So I'm going to put a check mark next to it so that I know that I did it. I want you to put the check mark there too. Alright, question 2. Are there like terms? Okay, 14 and 2x are not like terms, so there's no like terms. Question 3 says, is there a constant? Circle it, then add or subtract. So this minus 14 is our constant. I'm going to draw a line through my equal sign to keep my math organized. The opposite of minus 14 is plus 14. What do I do on the side of the variable? I have to do the exact same thing on the other side. So I did a step. Now I'm going to draw a line and simplify. Negative 14 plus 14 is 0. So these would cancel each other out. I'm left with a 2x equals 44 plus 14 is 58. Okay. So that was this step. I undid my constant. Now I have to figure out, is there a coefficient? Box it and then multiply or divide. The coefficient is the number that's still stuck with my variable. So in this case, it's a 2. 2x means 2 times x. So to undo that, I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides. Two x divided by 2 is 1x. 58 divided by 2 is 29. Yep, 29. Just double checking. Again, I can't show you my calculator. So I boxed my coefficient and I undid it and then I got my answer. Draw a happy face because we're happy we got the answer. Alright, here's the next one. So I look at my equation. My goal is to get one of the variable. So I identify what the variable is. My variable is x. So I want to find what 1x is. My first question says, are there parentheses? So I'm looking through my equation. Nope, no parentheses. Don't need to do that step. Okay, are there like terms? So I see an x, minus 10, minus 5. Okay, I see a couple of like terms here. I'm going to combine like terms. Negative 3.5x and plus 8.5x are like terms because they have the same variable. Negative 10 and minus 5 are like terms because they're both constants, numbers by themselves. So I'm just going to regroup my like terms. Negative 3.5x plus 8.5x. Then negative 10 minus 5 equals negative 75. Don't forget this side of the equation. Don't forget the equals part. Alright, so in my calculator, I'm going to type negative 3.5 plus 8.5. It's going to give me, 5x. Then I'm going to do negative 10 minus 5, which is negative 15, equals negative 75. And that took care of question number 2. I combined my like terms. Alright, so now I'm on to actually solving. So I'm going to draw a line through my equal sign to keep myself organized. Okay. It says, is there a constant? Circle the constant. Okay. Minus 15 is my constant. It's on the side of the variable, the number that I'm adding or subtracting to the variable. The opposite of minus 15 is plus 15. What I do on the side of the variable, I have to do the exact same thing, exact same number on the other side. Okay. Minus 15 plus 15 is 0. Those cancel each other out. And we're left with 5x. Then in your calculator, type negative 75 plus 15. And you get negative 60. So see how I'm doing a step, writing the answer. I'm going to do a step, then write an answer. So make sure that you're only doing one mathematical thing at a time. We're not trying to do multiple things at once. Alright, so that was question 3. I took care of that one. Question 4 says, is there a coefficient? Box it, then multiply or divide. There is still a number attached to my x, to my variable. So I'm going to put a box around the 5. 5x means 5 times x. The opposite of times is divide. So I'm going to divide this side by 5 and this side by 5. 5x divided by 5 is 1x. Then in your calculator, if you type negative 60 divided by 5, you should get negative 12. So we did those 2 steps. Okay. So on the next page, I'm going to do 2 more with you, and then you're going to do the rest on your own. Okay, so I'm going to read through my equation. Okay, I see that the variable I do have is y. So my goal is to find 1y. So it says, are there parentheses? So I'm going to read through. Okay, I'm seeing some parentheses, so I know that I'm going to distribute. So I'm going to take this number on the outside and multiply it by each thing on the inside. So we're going to do negative 5 times 9y, then negative 5 times 12. Oh, I wrote way too big. And I still need to include this part, so I'm going to write minus 10y equals 490. Oh, okay, maybe you can do a better job of getting that all to fit in one box. I am not great at writing on the iPad. Okay, alright, negative 5 times 9 is negative 45. Negative 5 times 12 is negative 60. Then again, still including this bit, minus 10y equals 490. So that takes care of my distributing step. Okay, it says, are there like terms? Simplify. Okay, I say that this one has a y and this term has a y. There are like terms. So I'm going to combine like terms. Negative 45y minus 10y. Negative 45 minus 10 is negative 55. And then I'm going to still include the other parts. Minus 60 equals 490. So that takes care of my combine like terms step. So now we're just going to solve the equation like normal. Draw a line through the equal sign. Question 3. Is there a constant? Circle it, then add or subtract. Yes, there is a constant. It's minus 60. So whatever I'm adding or subtracting to my variable. The opposite of minus 60 is plus 60. What I do on this side of the equation with the variable, I need to do on the other side. So I did a step, I drew a line, now I'm going to find the answer. Minus 60 and plus 60 are opposites, they cancel each other out. And we're left with negative 55y. Type in your calculator 490 plus 60, you get 550. And then that took care of my constant step. So now I have to deal with the coefficient. Is there a coefficient? Box it, then multiply or divide. Yes, there's a coefficient. I'm going to draw a box around negative 55. Negative 55y means negative 55 times y. To undo that, I'm going to divide by negative 55. And draw a line underneath. Oops. Right, negative 55 divided by negative 55 is 1, so we get 1y. And then 550 divided by negative 55 is negative 10. So I'm just going to rewrite it here so you can see it. Alright, last one we're going to do together. I know this is a long video. It's a lot. Alright, so I'm looking through. I see that my variable is w. So my goal is to find a positive 1w. It says, are there parentheses? So I look through my equation. Yes, there's parentheses. So I need to distribute. So I'm going to do 3 times 1.5w. This minus goes with the 24. Sorry, 2.4. 3 times negative 2.4. Then I'm going to include all the other things. Minus 1.8 equals 0. 3 times 1.5. When I type it in my calculator, I get 4.5. So 4.5w. Then 3 times negative 2.4 is negative 7.2. So minus 7.2. Then I'm just going to rewrite everything else that I still need to include. So I have taken care of my parentheses step. Then I'm going to look, are there any like terms? Is there anything I can combine? Okay, I see that these two are like terms. So I'm going to do negative 7.2 minus 1.8. You get minus 9. So I'm going to zoom back in a little bit. So we still have to include our 4.5w. Negative 7.2 minus 1.8 was negative 9. And equals 0. And that took care of question 2. Alright, now it says, is there a constant? Yes, I have a constant, so I'm going to circle that. My constant is minus 9. I'm going to draw a line through my equal sign to keep myself organized. The opposite of minus 9 is plus 9. What I do on this side with the variable, I need to do on this side as well. Draw a line underneath it. Negative 9 plus 9 is 0. These cancel each other out. We're left with a 4.5w. Then on this side, 0 plus 9 is 9. That was my constant step. And question 4, is there a coefficient? Box it, then multiply or divide. Yes, I have a coefficient. It's 4.5. I'm going to put a box around 4.5. 4.5w means 4.5 times w. To undo times, we're going to divide. Remember that fraction bars mean divide. We're going to divide by 4.5 on both sides. So dividing by 4.5 here, dividing by 4.5 here. Then draw a line underneath all of it. 4.5 divided by itself is 1, so we get 1w. And then in my calculator, I type 9 divided by 4.5, and I get 2. So w equals 2. Alright, I know that was long. Thanks for hanging in there. Okay, so go through and write it like I wrote it. Write every single step as you're doing it on your own. Answer the questions, go through them, use them as a guide so you don't forget anything. You got this. Good work.